Hi everyone, I'm Shaylin here with Reedsy. So today we're going to be looking at some writing exercises to help you with character development. Character development is probably one of the most common and natural places to use writing exercises because it's something that you're often going to be doing outside of your actual writing practice in the planning and brainstorming phase where you're trying to figure out your character. Everyone has their own unique methods. Some are more structural, some are more intuitive. Some people might do things like fill out character profiles. So today we're going to look at 7 writing exercises that you can bring into your character development process to do some deeper character development and maybe expedite the character development process a little. Just learn some new things about your character, help develop them more fully. So the first exercise is so simple. It's deceptively simple, but it's one of the most effective in my experience, and it's just the physical description. So this exercise isn't just to figure out what your character looks like, it is to write the most detailed physical description of this character that you possibly can. In our actual writing, sometimes we might just describe 1 or 2 physical traits and that's it. This is more than that. This is not just one sentence where you say this was their eye color and hair color and move on. Take the time to describe every single feature of this character in detail. Really look at their face and try to describe them in an interesting way. This is the chance to describe a character in a level of detail that you would honestly never do in an actual book. In an actual piece of writing, you're probably not going to spend multiple paragraphs describing every tiny scar and the pattern of a character's freckles and describing them in the most intricate detail possible. But really try to look at every detail of this character. Pick up even things like how they move and their facial expressions. Really describe their clothes. Look at the character in as much detail as possible. The reason I find this exercise so beneficial is that it helps to clarify and add detail to your mental picture of a character. And the more easily you can visualize them and visualize their face and their facial reactions and expressions and their body language, it's easier to write them and understand how they would react and move in a scene. So it's a very simple exercise. It's one of my favorites. Then you can also help use some of those interesting bits of description in your piece as well. Probably not the whole thing, but maybe the best aspects of it. Number 2 is their home history. This is also a really simple description-based exercise that I think can help you learn a lot of interesting things about your character's backstory, but also their internal desires. Describe every home or every room that your character has lived in throughout their life. And again, really look for that level of detail. Not just one sentence, like really taking the time to write a full paragraph and pick out interesting details for each location. And then also describe their dream home. If they could build a home that looked like anything and could be anywhere in the world, where would it be and what would it look like? This can help you pinpoint their idea of peace and home, what they truly want. So this is a great exercise to help you pick out details from your character's backstory, as well as their personal idea of home and peace. A similar exercise is to timeline. Make a timeline of your character's entire life and note out all of the important events that happen to them. A lot of these may never come up in the book, but they can give you a good understanding of your character's backstory and might also help you pinpoint events that would make worthwhile flashbacks. Once you've filled out the entire timeline, identify the most important events in their lives, the ones that really shaped them, as well as recurring themes or ideas that seem to show up throughout their life and that may be worth exploring in your story and through their character arc. Exercise number 4, their best day. Write a flashback scene where your protagonist recalls the best day of their life. Basically, their happiest memory. What did they have on this day that they don't have now and that they're still seeking? At the same time, you can also write out a description where they imagine their perfect hypothetical day, even if it hasn't happened yet. This is a great exercise to help you identify your character's wants, desires, and what they value most. Your character may have concrete, tangible goals within the story, but it's also really important to understand what they yearn for and crave within their life, what's missing from their life. And this is a great way to help identify that. The next exercise is to peek into your character's journal. Imagine your character keeps a diary. Now, of course, the odd novel is going to be written in diary or journal form anyways, but assuming that your book is not written in the epistolary form, imagine that it was and write a few journal entries from your character's perspective. Another really similar but great exercise is to let your character write a letter letter to their younger selves. You can choose where on the timeline this makes most sense. Maybe they're writing this letter after the story has ended to themselves right at the beginning of the story. This can help you develop your character's natural voice, you know, the way that they just write when they're just writing for themselves to themselves with no audience, as well as how they view themselves outside of the context of a narrative, you know? The next step is to fill out character questionnaires. Now, there are a lot of different character profiles out there. We've got a video on how to make a character profile, as well as a template in a blog post that I'll leave a link to. But there's some really interesting questionnaires out there that are meant for actual people, not for developing your characters, that can be really useful character development exercises. For example, there's the 36 questions that will lead to love. The theory behind this questionnaire is that if two people ask and answer all these questions, by the end they'll be in love, because the questions get increasingly more personal and deep as you go. So if such a claim is true, it will definitely help you learn more about your character to let them answer all 36 of these questions. There's also the Proust questionnaire, which I'll also leave a link to. It's also a series of, personal questions that, they're different from the typical character profile questions that can be a bit factual. These are more internal and personal, and can really help you learn more about your character on that personality, on that soul level, unlike a basic character profile, which is sometimes a bit more trait-based. And final is the Gatsby method. So in The Great Gatsby, of course, the story is told from a witness point of view. So tell your story from a witness point of view. Write about your protagonist from all of your side characters' perspectives. Write a scene where all of your side characters are observing your main character. This can help you really flesh out those bonds between your characters, because you see from the side character's own eyes how they view your protagonist. But you can also learn a lot about your protagonist when you see them from that external view. Normally the story is looking at them from an internal view, but this allows you to see them from an external view. And for your side characters, it gives you the opposite. Normally you're seeing your side characters from an external view, but this allows you to see them from an internal view by making them the narrator. So put all your characters in a scene together. Write a scene where, you shift through all the point of views of all of your side characters, and use all of those point of views to describe and observe your main character. And see them from this completely different viewpoint can unlock some very interesting things about them and really help you learn about your entire cast and all of their relationships as well. So those are 7 writing exercises that you can use to help develop your characters further. Of course, most of these were meant for your protagonist, but you can use them for your side characters as well. You could really use these for any character. I would love to know your favorite character development exercises or methods in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos from us. We've got new writing, editing, and publishing tips every Tuesday and Friday. Until next time, bye!